Hi guys, and welcome back to The Cheeky Geek. Today we're going to be going through just some grade 10 maths, just sort of the basics. Basically, when you get to real numbers, there's usually two main ways that we use to represent them. So we can either represent them graphically, such as on a number line, or we could also represent them in a way of writing them. Okay, so the first way I'm going to go through is called Setbuilder notation, okay, and I'm going to show you both the graphic and the written representations of how to use Setbuilder notation. Okay, so if we start out with Setbuilder notation, okay, so usually they're going to give you a range of numbers and they want you to write it in a certain way. So Setbuilder notation always follows the same sort of written form. So it starts out with one of these curly brackets, and then you're going to have the element that you're using. So in this case, we're going to be using x. So you define the element, then you have a colon. Okay, then you're going to put the range of numbers. So say, for example, that we're going to use all the numbers greater than 3. Okay, so then that's our x. The last thing we need to define is like what sorts of elements x actually is. So let's say we're going to say x is an element of R. Okay, in this case, it means that we're working with the element x. We're going to work with all the x greater than 3, and x is a real number. Okay, so that's the Setbuilder, the written form of it. If we now want to use the graphic form of this, we're going to use this information to now put it on a number line. Okay, so if we have a number line just works like this. We have our numbers here, so we're going to have x greater than 3. So if we have here 3, 4, 5. Okay, so with real numbers, we usually work above the number line, and you'll see what I mean by that now. So if we're working above the number line and we've got real numbers, we have x greater than 3. Okay, so I'm going to draw an open circle because x isn't equal to 3, it's just going to be greater than 3. Okay, so we put an open circle at 3, and then x is an element of the real numbers, so it can be any other number as long as it's greater than 3, which means that we just draw an arrow and it stretches to infinity to show that x could be any one of those possible numbers. Okay, so that's how it works when we're working with a real number set. It changes up a little bit if we decide to do, let's try another one with Setbuilder notation, but we're going to work with integers instead. Okay, so once again, we have the Setbuilder notation. Okay, so x is our element. Let's say x is greater than or equal to 4, and x is an element of the integers. Okay, so now once again, we want to draw this. We want to try and represent it on a number line. Okay, so if we have all our numbers here, when we're working with integers, it's important that we don't work above the number line, because integers are the whole numbers. So it would be, we're going to have like 3 or 4, 5, 6. It's not going to be, say, 3.5 or 4.2. Okay, so we're going to work on the number line itself. Okay, in this case, x is equal to or greater than 4. So at 4, we put a dot, and it's a filled in dot to show that it's included. Okay, and then it's greater than or equal to 4. So at all the other integers, so at 5, 6, 7, we put dots. Okay, and then just to show that it's carrying on, we go from this included dots, we go up and just draw an arrow to show that all the integers from this point onwards are included. Okay, so that's an important thing to remember. When you're working with integers, just make sure you're working on the number line and not above it, because you don't want to include all the little ones in between. So you don't want to include like 5.3, because that wouldn't be an integer. Okay, and then the other way they can ask you to do Setbuilder notation is they're going to give you the number line, and then you're going to work backwards from that point to give them the written form. Okay, so this is exactly how we have been doing it. It's just going to be the opposite way. So let's say we are given a number line that looks like this. Okay, let's just draw it in quick. Okay, so we have from -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. And here we have an open circle above there and a closed circle at 2. Okay, and a line in between. Okay, and so the first thing we can notice is that because it's above the number line, that means that these must be real numbers, okay? Then the next thing, we need to find out the boundaries. Okay, so we start off as always, okay? We have a bracket. We're going to work with element x, so we put that down, okay? Then where is x included and not included? Okay, so we can see here there's an open circle, and as we saw earlier, that means that it's not included there. So we're going to say -2, and then it's not included x is our element, stretches all the way up until 2, but this 2 is included because of the closed dot, so we just add another one there to show it's included. And then the next thing we do, we have to say x, it must be an element of R because this line is above the number line. Okay, so an element of R. Okay, so as you can see, that's the two ways that they usually ask you to do Setbuilder notation, and the ways of just putting it in written form and taking it to your number line, or otherwise they're going to give you the number line and you put it back into the Setbuilder notation written form. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up in the comments, and I hope this was helpful.